Thank you, Ma. Thank you. So we are in the final conclusion of Jnayam Brahma, the most subtlest of the, you can call it subject, substance. Total there are 7 slokas, so we have completed about 3, and the remaining 4, we will leave it to Sri Natarajan to explain.
Hari Om, Jai Guru. Madhya Hridayakashe Chidanandamano Guruhu Udetu Satatam Samyak Ajnanatimira. See, in chapter 13, we saw the 20 virtues, starting from Amanitvam, Adambitvam, and ending with Sattva Jnanartha Darshana. See, the last one, especially the Sattva Jnanartha Darshana, is that one has to be very clear about this. Why we study this, especially to know about Sattva Jnana and what is the person, what we get. This sort of clarity is required because it is not visible. So one has to see. So what is happening and what is meant by why we do this and stuff. We'll try to see whenever, in some of the slokas about this. So Jnanam was explained till the last verse. Now, Sri Krishna discusses Jnayam. The first one, anyway, we'll just read. Jnayam yattat pravakshami yajñātvāmritamasnute anādimat param brahma nasattan nasaduchyate. Jnayam yattat pravakshami yajñātvāmritamasnute anādimatparam brahma nasantannāti uchyate. Nasattam nāti uchyate. So, see, Krishna says, I shall teach you that which is to be known, upon knowing which one attains immortality. It is a supreme Brahman which is beginningless, and it is said to be neither an effect nor cause. This was discussed elaborately last week. And now let's go further. See, in those days, kings, they had luxurious living in a palace and all. But when occasion comes, they had to kill many people as a punishment or in the war. It gave them so much of afflictions. But still, they could do it because of, as we saw in 9th chapter, Rajavidya and Rajagukya, which is yoga science of yoga. Krishna has explained that there is nothing like... what is happening? Krishna says...
Srinivasan, can you put your mic mute, please?
Correct. Srinivasan.
Okay.
Srinivasan.
Is it? Okay. Okay. Krishna says, there is nothing like death at all. It is a physical phenomenon. Everybody is I in the body and not the body. That I neither gets born nor die. Knowing this secret, it's they call it Raja Gukhyam. A king is able to fight and kill so many people. Krishna, he tells Arjuna also, remember me and fight. It means remember the soul and fight. Actually, the Prakriti, which consists of gunas, is the ruler.
Can you check your audio?
Audio what?
மாமா உங்க வாய்ஸ் ரொம்ப கட்டா இருக்கு, கிளாரிட்டி இல்ல.
அப்படியா? I have increased the volume. Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Seems okay, Mama.
Eh? Oh, probably. Okay. Probably the Wi-Fi is not fully. Oh, there's a power cut. Okay. So it's only on this phone data it is working. So that is the reason, probably. So, because of that, as given in 9th chapter, it is the kings were able to fight and kill so many people. So Krishna says, remember the soul and fight. That is, remember me and fight. Otherwise, see, the Prakriti is the main ruler. The Prakriti means it's gunas. So, if one understands very clearly, susukam kartum abhyayam. It is easy to practice this Raja Vidya. And earlier, that the 19th virtue, Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. Why that Nityatvam? It is for liberation or moksha. No, what is that liberation? See, once everything is understood, everything means what is that I and who is doing everything. So once it is understood, then as Ramana says, Vanda Veed Atra Parasukam Utravar. Aதாவது, there is no Bandha or moksha. So without that, because we clearly understand, we are not doing, and it's whatever is done, it is because of Prakriti and the gunas. So finally, Krishna tells Arjuna also, if you don't fight, you will be made to fight. So that is the thing. So we don't, whatever is to be done, it is done through the gunas. Our ignorance, because of our ignorance, we feel that I am doing. It is, we saw it in 3rd chapter itself, 27th verse. Every time also we have again repeated this. Prakriti guna karmani Ahankara vimodatma kartaham manyate. So it says like that everything is done by the gunas. Only because of ahankaram we feel that we are doing. So actually, so there is no bondage at all once it is understood. I am not in this 13th chapter, for later verses, especially the 30th, I think, it very clearly explains this. So we are not doing anything, and I am all the time that only. So always I was in pure consciousness, and I am the only source of peace, security, and happiness. So once it is understood, what we, as Ramana says, Summa means there is no need to search. The seeking actually stops. So that is the thing which we call as liberation. So all the time it is like that. It's not that remaining in that isolated or Atma's city. Whatever is done, everything is that only. Except I, nothing exists. Again, we will see later in this chapter itself. So, if you see the 13th chapter, which is Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. So, Kshetra means what? It is a field of objects, so many objects, which are many. Whereas the Kshetrajna, knower of the field, is only one. In this chapter, it is called Nyayam. That is the thing to be known, to understand this. So in the previous verse, it says, Yajñātva amrtamasnute. Once it is known, you become immortal. Immortal means we are not involved in anything all the time. We are peaceful and happy all the time. So that is liberation, one can call. So the next 5 verses are the description of this particular thing, that is Nyaya. That is what you really are. That is the inner presence which enlivens, animates and activates the body. Though it is inside, actually inside the body, it enfolds the whole body. Not only that, it enfolds the whole universe. So next verse. Sarvata panipadam padam tat sarvatokshi siro mukam sarvata smriti malloke sarvamavritya tishtati sarvata panipadam tat sarvatoshi shiro mukam sarvata smriti malloke sarvamavritya tishtati. So it says Sarvata Panipadam. It has hands and legs everywhere. It has eyes, heads, and a mouth everywhere. It has ears everywhere. It remains pervading everything in the world. So Sarvata Panipadam, hands and feet everywhere. That is, it can reach anywhere. All pervading, with hands and feet, eyes, head, face and ears everywhere, it stands embracing all. The inner presence is enfolding the whole body and the universe. So all the time, that's why it is able to reach anywhere, indeed, because it is everywhere. We see it in Vishnu Sahasranama also. In the chanting it comes, my eyes are there in the whole body and all. So the same thing is described in a different way. Actually, you see, the eyes are nothing but formation of flesh. By itself, it cannot see. It is empowered to see by the mind. What is mind? It is a functional expression of the consciousness, which is Atma or Brahman. Actual seeing is taking place in the mind. We have discussed this many times. Quickly, if you see the reflected rays from the object, it falls in the lens and the image is formed in the retina, and the electric pulse, they reach the brain. And when it is in contact with the mind, the image is formed. Mind, it doesn't require eyes to see. It automatically forms. So in Ramanas Udesar, which is Kandai Kandindi Kanunai Kanuvada Everpar Arunachala. It doesn't have eyes, but it sees because when it gets the electric pulse, it is able to clearly see what is in front. So, whenever we say, I see something, the cognition, whenever we talk about cognition, we see the image of that thing, that object in the mind. So, we see the image. So, that is the thing, has to be very clear about this. This has to be actually contemplated upon. So, everything is inside only. So, that I is enfolding the entire universe. That's why we are able to see everything, right from the tree nearby till the sun or moon. Everything is same. Because I am, this thing is infinity. So, this one has to contemplate. This is a very, very important point. Actually, Swamiji in the long time back in the first class, he explained all these things. So, it is a very, very important one. One of the things which we can see. So, we think, we feel, because we think I am the body, we feel everything is outside. Once it is clear that I am that which enfolds everything, then in fact everything is within us only, including this body. So this has to be understood very, very clearly. So it explains so many things once this is understood. So next one. Sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya vibhajitam asaktam sarvaprichaiva nirgunam gunabhokruta sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya vibhajitam asaktam sarvaprichaiva nirgunam gunabhokruta. So it is manifest, that is, the I within us is manifest through the functions of all organs. Yet it is free from all the organs. It sustains everything. Yet it is untouched. It is the, it experiences the gunas, yet it is free from gunas. So this looks as if one is opposite to other, this thing. We will see how it is. It is possessing all the senses, but does not have any sense organs. Just now we saw, when the image comes to the mind, it understands. It doesn't require any sense organs. So it doesn't have. In fact, without the mind, we will not be able to see at all. That means, this also we have discussed earlier. In the sleep, when the mind is withdrawn totally, if somebody opens our eyes, we won't be able to see at all. This you can imagine, or I don't know. It's very simple to understand. So the mind is required. So the mind means what? The consciousness. So it is the thing which activates and empowers all organs. But it doesn't work as it is organs. So that's why the word asaktam used. That means not clinging to anything, not attached to anything. This is the main difference between man and God. If you remember Tattva Bodha, there it is clearly explained. The man, when we call Jiva or man, when the consciousness or Brahman reflects in the thoughts, then we feel I am the body, and that feeling automatically comes. It is again because of gunas. And the so-called that I, it gets attached. So, whereas in the case of God, which is where the Brahman is reflected on the total body and total mind, that particular, this thing, aspect we call as God. But God is never attached, because it is, for him, there is no such thing as attachment. It is common to all, so it doesn't get attached. So this is the difference between man and God. That is the upadhi, the container, is here it is, you can say, body mind complex. There it is total, the body and total mind. So even though the Brahman gets reflected, that God, it doesn't get attached at all. So this, once we understand this, we will be able to we will be able to understand that our mind, the mind is what? The first thought, I am the body. That itself, you feel that there is a thought, but that mind is not attached to that. So this we call as liberation. So asaktam is not clinging to anything. So verses, if you see, 9th chapter, I think 5, 6, 7 or something like that. There, Krishna says, everybody is within me, but I am not in them. So here it says, I am not in them means what? I am unattached. So that is why I don't get affected. Whatever is happening in the individual's mind, they don't affect me at all. So, as I told earlier, we can feel that the mind stuff is not attached. The thoughts, when it comes, we feel it is mine, so it appears that it is attached. So that's why this spiritual sadhana, you will understand that mind is nothing but consciousness. When the thoughts come, so it is called mind. Same consciousness, same Brahman. When thought comes, it is called mind. Other than thought, you see there is a gap which is nothing but mind stuff, which is consciousness. That is not at all attached to anything. So that is always free. This has to be understood. For that only we do meditation and try to see that all the thoughts drop, and we feel that that awareness is there. Everything, in fact, everything is now it vanishes. Especially if one can do without closing the eyes, that means opening the eyes at a later stage, everything actually one can see. It vanishes means what? The mind, as in the sleep, when it is withdrawn, actually nothing can exist. So that is the sort of thing is talked about here. Similarly, if you see, for example, if you see physical example, the electric current, Wi-Fi, and all these things, they are present. In fact, here also the Wi-Fi is there, and they activate the various instruments. But it is not at all affected because of this. Same is the case with electric current. And the third one is the gravitational force. We are not seeing, but it pulls us. When something is dropped, it falls in the ground only because of the gravitational force, which we don't see, but we can understand. We feel that. So similarly, current and all this we don't see, but we can understand. But this particular, by the Atma or consciousness, what happens? It is completely different. It is not like these three which we saw. Because it is this particular thing which we call as Brahman or consciousness, it is nothing but I. So whereas the current and all these things, they are not the instruments. And Wi-Fi also, it is not the instrument. Similarly, gravitational force, it is nothing to do with the body. Whereas here, everything which it activates is actually created by this, and it only activates people. This, once it is clearly understood, in fact, so many things are clear. Again, in there is this also we have seen earlier. Ulladu means that which is or what is. Ulladu unara, unarvu where inmaya. There is no other consciousness. This is the only sentient being. So, and the unarvu unara, unarvu where inmaya, that ulladu, that means that which is unarvu. Adudha unarvu. And that unarvu, sentience is I. Automatically I am that. So whatever we see, it is in the I, which is consciousness. So this becomes slowly clearer and clearer. We'll see the other one also. Vahirandascha bhutanam acharam charameva cha sukshmatyat vijneyam durastam chantike cha tat Vahirandascha bhutanam acharam charameva cha sukshmatyat vijneyam durastam chantike cha tat It is, that is what we are now studying, that thing. It is outside and also inside living beings. It is unmoving and moving. It is so far and near. Being very subtle, it is unknowable. Anything that is subtle, it pervades, it is able to pervade. The pervasiveness depends on the degree of subtlety. For example, water also can pervade many places, but it has limitations. Similarly, fire, air, everything, space, that also it is everywhere. It is almost like consciousness only. Only thing it is inert, consciousness is it's sentient. That is the only difference. So it is Chidakasha consciousness. It is subtler than the space. And so therefore mind is also subtler than space. It is not just inside the body. It is everywhere. Again, we saw earlier. It is moving and non-moving. That means what? When it is within the body, when the body moves, that also moves. Whereas when it is the non-moving stuff is the thing which is away from the body, that is outside the body, disconnected from the body. So, acharam charamevacha, it moves as well as it is it doesn't move at all. When it is everywhere, it cannot move. The thing which is inside, like air we breathe in, that air in the lungs, when we move, that also moves. Whereas the air outside, it doesn't move. That means the pure air I'm talking about, not the wind. So it is similar to that. So it is, but it is due to sukshmatva. It is not visible. We have mind, but we can't see it, nor touch it. Still, we know it. How we can comprehend it. This power of comprehension should be increased more and more to understand that clearly. We can, the power of comprehension should be increased more and more. For that, mind should be purified more and more. Purified means what? Now our mind, as we saw earlier, consists of so many likes and dislikes. So once it is purified, it automatically now drops one by one. So in the purified mind, in fact, nobody needs to explain. That only is consciousness. So, and it can give, for example, our eyes, they have the power to see infinite distances. But who gave the power? See, this one has to think over and contemplate. So the Shravanam, Mananam and Vidyasanam are so important. One has to spend, in fact, a lot of time on this. That's why in those days, people really interested, they went outside the city or village, and because that much time is required to contemplate. So this sort of attempt or spiritual sadhana is essential to understand Now, of course, there are many places where even without going to secluded places, one can understand this. There are many facilities where everything is taken care, especially places like this. So you have full time to contemplate and do the sadhana. So here, this next one. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktamaiva cha sthitam bodhabhratrudhatajneyam vishishnutabhavishnu cha avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktamaiva cha sthitam bodhabhratrudhatajneyam vishishnutabhavishnu cha. It remains undivided, yet it appears as if it is divided in beings, in various bodies. That Brahman is the creator, the destroyer, and the sustainer of all beings. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu, the inner consciousness is indivisible like space. Vibhaktam, at the same time, it appears to be divided in various bodies. The soul is not divided. We saw in second chapter, Nainam Chintanti Sastrani, and next one is Achedyoyam Apatyoyam. So we have seen that it cannot be divided, it cannot be cut, it cannot be burnt, it cannot be dried, on those things. So in the second chapter, all those 3 or 4 slokas. It explains this so nicely. And one can imagine, even the space, we can't do any of these things. So this is subtler than space. So this particular thing can be easily understood. It is indivisible. Bodhabhratrudhatajneyam. It is that which holds, sustains all beings and creations. See, for example, the planets are rotating and going around and all. But who keeps them doing so? Vishishnu Prabhavishnu cha. This is the thing which creates. Even the, you can say the baby inside the body, this only creates the eyes, face and everything. So actually the father or mother, they are not doing it. It is the nature which draws blood or this thing from the mother's body, and then it gets all these things slowly. They get eyes and all these things. They come up after some time. So this. So unlike the other things which we can't see here, this is the thing which creates, sustains and destroys whenever it is required. This actually we can see. It doesn't it doesn't require so much thinking. It is a thing which creates. Creates means the world or individual body or any of these things. The trees and plants and everything is created. Actually, even in our body, the breathing or heart beating and all, they are all happening. We have no actually role in that. We have to we think that we have to maintain and all. Everything is done by that only. So, if you see the path, so many things are clear from this angle. Actually, we hear. Okay. We come to the next. Next, this one. Jyotishamapi tajyotihi tamassa paramuchyate jnanam gneyam jnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. Jyotishamapi tajyotihi tamassa paramuchyate jnanam gneyam jnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. So, it is the light of all lights. It is said to be beyond, tamasa means ignorance, beyond darkness. it is knowledge, the object of knowledge and the goal of knowledge present in the heart. It is present in the heart of all. So it is not the visual brilliance, but that which sees it. Tamasa paramuchyate. It is beyond the darkness. That is ignorance. The light we are referring to is knowledge. It is illumining and enlightening everything. So here another point we have to see. The normal light, either sunlight or whatever light we see, it cannot reveal darkness. Whenever it comes, darkness goes. Whereas this knowledge, it can reveal darkness also. So this is knowledge based. It is knowledge. It is not. See, they just for comparison, they say it is like 1,000 lights and all these things. Actually, it is the knowledge using which we are able to see, we are able to hear, we are able to touch, and all these things. So everything doesn't require light. It is because of the presence of that knowledge. So this Jnayam, it is the one to be known. Jnanagamyam, it has to be approached by knowledge only. Now, it is knowledge oriented. So nothing else can reveal it, with our sense organs and so many things. It cannot reveal any of those things. These also we have studied in detail in second chapter and all. So this is completely knowledge oriented. Jnanagamya. See, the sarvasya vishtidam. It is in all hearts. Everybody's hearts. Here, see, heart, Ramana Maharshi, he says it is on the right side. Heart means normally we take that, the physical heart. It is on the right side. This is just for explaining that it is not that, not to say that Ramana says like that. It is on the right side. God or consciousness is all pervading. It is seen by neither closing the eyes nor opening them. It is to be comprehended. Intelligence is the only power of comprehension. What is that we are carrying within our body? Who is empowering the body? Who is empowering the senses? Who makes the mind think and intelligence understand? Who makes you sleep and who wakes you up? Human life is meant for finding and understanding this. Jnanam, Jnayam, Jnanagamyam. See, this again, see, in Upadesa Saram, this is explained in just 4 verses. We will just quickly go there because it is explained in a different way. Aniyabhavattin avan agamagum. Aniyabhavattin avan agamagum. Ananiya bhavame undi para. Anithinam uttamam undi para. Instead of thinking, see, earlier when we started our devotion, our thinking is God is somewhere far away. Now, after understanding, one can, that is aniyabhavatil. It is not something external. It is avan agam. It's inside the body. Agam. In ananya bhavam. It is not. Ananya means it is not outside or anything. It is not. It is everything is that only. Ananya bhavam. This is the best. Anithinam uttama. So this bhava-balam, see, it's for contemplating. Yes, it is inside, outside. All this, 5 verses we saw. It is explained. We can always think about that and try to understand and have the bhava. After some time, for example, now, even though we think that I am the body, all the time we don't think that I am the body and all. It has become, there is no bhava required. Similarly, once it is understood that I am that,
So that means that which is everywhere is in my agam, in my heart also. That is in me also. Once it is understood, this bhava balatina. So then you don't have to go on doing the bhava. Bhava balatinal, bhavanatita. You go beyond the bhava. Sadbhavattiliruttale untipara. Once you go beyond, all the time we are in that sadbhava. So this is actually parabhakti tattvam. This is the real bhakti. All the time remaining in that, in my atma, or in Brahman, or in pure consciousness. So we are like that. This understanding, this is the parabhakti tattvam. Then another thing which we saw, actually, இருக்கும் இயற்கை இருக்கும் இயற்கையில் ஈச ஜீவர்கள் ஒரு பொருளே யாவர் உந்தி பர உபாதி உணர்வே வேறுந்தி பர. Actually, in the இயற்கை nature, whether it is Isan, God, or Jiva, they are the same thing. They are not different. Here Jivatma, the Paramatma, actually the main principle, both are same only. But what is the difference? Isha Javargal, Upadi Unarve. I am this body, I am the mind. This feeling is different. He doesn't have, whereas I have. So what should we do for that? தன்னை உபாதி விட்டோர்வது தானீசன் தன்னை உணர்வதாம் உந்தி பர தானாய் ஒளிர்வதால் உந்தி பர. தன்னை the self or me, I am to be brought out of the ubhadi, the container, which is body, mind, and that intelligence. If I have to bring it out by my sadhana, and ubhadi with orvadu, to bring it out, that is the thing which we call Isan Tannai Unarvada. That is seeing or being with God, with Brahman. So everything is like there is nothing else. So that sort of understanding and one can actually feel and be like that. So this is the thing which is talked about in Gita in the 5 verses which we saw. So this actually it is ultimate. So our Guru Swamiji, he used to tell this is the pentagon of the Bhagavad Gita. These 5 slokas, if we can chant, contemplate on each and every sloka and word, it itself can liberate us. That's what he used to tell. And it is a fact. Actually, just now we saw. But so one has to spend time, more time on these things, not, other things for some time and this whenever we have time. So the sadhana or spiritual pursuit is those people who understood. In fact, in every activity one can see the presence of that. So in fact, that is a stage where you don't have to contemplate also. It becomes so obvious. So that manifestation in every action, it makes it clear. So we don't have to separately think. That sadbhava position become automatic, and we alone, that clarity will come. So this is the thing, all the... So they talked about, and very important verses, which what call every verse, especially the last one, the jnanam, jnayam, jnanagamyam. It all requires only the knowledge, that jnanam, using which we can rather comprehend and understand. In fact, no other aid or instrument or any other thing is required. Maybe the book to read, nothing else other than that. So it has to be contemplated. Why he says like that? Why? What is meant by all pervading? And who has, who makes the world, rotate, and all these things. It will become. It's not it's all illusory. As our dream. In the dream, we alone have the dream. We have created, and everything in the dream is mind only, nothing else. But this we
very frequently see. Same thing here. Only thing, instead of the individual mind, this is called a Brahman, the total mind. So in the total mind, all these things, they appear as dream. So, see, this is explained very well in some of the Upanishads, especially Mandukya Upanishad. So, how dream is and how this waking state is, and both are same, similar, not similar, same. This is also a dream. See, our usual doubt is dream lasts only for a few minutes, maybe 5 to 6 it seems. People have measured this also. It is there only for 5 to 6 minutes. In Yoga Vasishtha, it is clearly explained. The totality, when that consciousness we call Brahman, when it dreams, because of the time scale, the individual time and the Brahman's time, they call it, it is some yuga or something like that, so many years. So for it, if it is to be 5 or 6 minutes, it will be our lifetime. That's why the dream appears to be, even though it is same for us, it is there for years together. And we are all characters in the dream. So, when we sleep and get up in the next morning, things are in the same place. Whereas it never happens in our dream, because our dream is short and there is no occasion to think about all these things. And this total dream, it is very clear. Here somebody sleeps and wakes up, everything, not only for the individual, but everybody. When you say that this is the day, everybody sees that as a tree only. So this is the beauty of that. So this, when we see the different, and when we say I, it is nothing but, it is not different. That Jiva, Jivatma and Paramatma, that is the main, this thing is it not. Initially, it appears to be Vidya and all this. Finally, both are same once it is understood. This is in the other, further, the verses, it becomes very, very clear. Actually, that's why, from that point of view, the 13th chapter, it makes everything clear. In fact, further, other chapters, they simply, explained one or two things further, which Arjuna asks. Otherwise, this itself is full by itself. We will see that when we come to other verses. Hari Om, Jai Guru.
Thank you, Natarajan. I think most of us are more confused than our original situation, because this is a subject. To explain the subject is very, very difficult. And Natarajan tried his level best to explain from various angles. Now, what I wanted to say was, see, he used avibhaktam and vibhaktam. It seems to be undivided. But when we see all of us, we are all divided. Jayaraman is different, I am different, so we are undivided. Divided. How these two can be put together, understand? So, avibhaktam, vibhaktam. Now, avibhaktam means undivided. The same Atma which is existing is also in me. In me also it is existing. In Jayaraman also it is existing. In all of us, each one of us, it is existing. That is why we see it is divided. Actually, it is not divided. It is divided. Seems to be divided. If you take a nearest example is the space. If I have a pot and the pot is empty, but space is inside the pot. But the space is also outside. The pot is in space. So when you look from the point of pot, it is inside. And if you look from the outside of the pot, it is also space. So this is one explanation. Space is nearest to the example of Brahman, consciousness. But space is not consciousness, because space has also got limitation. But to understand the Brahman, it is inside as well as outside. These are only examples which is amplifying that particular aspect. Similarly here, Brahman is consciousness all over the place, and it is only one. Ekam Nityam. Now, if you want to understand why it appears to be different, it is appears to be different because each one of us has not the original consciousness. We only have the reflected consciousness through our mind. And that is why we look that each one is different, because from the reflected consciousness point of view. But there is only one consciousness available. But because of the reflecting media, like if you've got 100 pots which filled with water, and if the sunlight is, if the sun is reflected on the inside the pot, you see there are 100 suns, but there's only one sun. If the pot is broken, the sun is gone. It merges with the original sun. So similarly here, even though we say it is vibhaktam and avibhaktam, இருக்கிறது ஒரு கான்சியஸ்னஸ் மட்டும்தான் இருக்கு. There is only one consciousness which is to be known. That is called Jnayam Brahma. So Jnayam Brahma is what we have to know. For that, they are giving you all these of adjectives. You can call it paradoxical statements. Inside, outside. It is far away, it is near. See, these are all, to give an idea that it is not far away, it is near. You have to see from which point of view. If you are a jnani, there is no body, then there is a question of no inside and outside. But we are all ajnanis. So for a jnani, it is far away. For a jnani, it is very near. So that is how we have to understand these various slokas. And these are only given some examples for us to contemplate and do manana. There is one, our concluding shloka, Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnameva Avashishyate. There are 7 Purnams here. If you say only one Purnam, then why 7 Purnams? And this needs a lot of manana. Because there's only one Purnam which is existing. The rest are all manifestations from that Purnam. Purnam Adaha, that is Brahman. Purnam Idam, this Jiva. Purnat Purnam Udachyate. The Jiva Purnam is manifested from original Purnam, Brahman. Purnamadam, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnam Udachyate, Purnasya Purnam Adaya. If you remove the Purnam from Purnam, the meaning is Brahman is constant. But if you remove the Jiva Purnam, then there is only left, that is Purnam. It's like when you got 10 minus 10, the answer will be 0. But here this sloka says it is 10. That is, Brahman Purnam cannot be negated. Similarly, Brahman cannot be negated. Very, very, what you call as complicated statements. But if you really analyze, because that is why they give an example of Karana Karyam. The pot is there, clay is there, the plot came from the clay, and the clay is original, pot is Namarupam, there is no pot at all. Similarly, there is no Jiva at all. That is why they call it Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. There is no Jagat. So if you remove the Jagat, the only thing which is left is Brahman. That is called Jnayam Brahman. That requires an enormous amount of analysis, investigation, contemplation, discussion with some gurus, and here now, practically the gurus may not be available, but there are a lot of explanation given by Upanishadic statements. Each Upanishad gives different meanings for Brahman as well as Atma. So with this we conclude today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vasishyate Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.